Hey Aarav, so thanks for doing this. I know you're in the midst of your final board examinations, but thanks for taking out, a few minutes to be here with me.
No problem at all. I've had like a week or 2 weeks to study for it, so I'm completely free at the moment.
Okay, lovely. You look very tired, and it looks like you're now finally at the last stretch of your exams and ready to go to college after that. Uh, Great, Aarav. So why don't you begin with telling me, where you are in your college journey right now, and uh, where are you finally headed this fall?
So I've still not finalized my decision. I'm stuck between Toronto and Waterloo right now, and I've had a week or so to think about it, and I need to finalize maybe in the next couple of days. And I'm not much closer to a decision now.
Okay, I see. But I mean, those are two great schools, so I can see why you're also confused at this stage. And just to understand, Arav, what are the factors that you are taking into consideration when you're making this decision?
Obviously, the biggest one has to be the strength of the program. But then above that, one of the things you mentioned to me is quite important to look at in terms of job placements is the reputation, both internationally and in Canada. Because so far I've not decided after college whether I want to stay there or whether I want to come back. So in that way, I need to consider which one has a higher reputation there, but also in the event that I decide to move back, which one has a high reputation here and it'll help me here as well.
Yeah.
And the other one is, of course, the availability of internships, because my brother told me that's a big factor that when it comes to job placements, if you've had good internships before that, companies tend to prefer you as a candidate. So that's another thing I looked at.
Great. So a lot of things. I mean, there's a great amount of depth and detail into how you're making this decision. And I think that's a wise way to approach this as well. Of course, we've discussed this a few times that whether you settle down in Canada, how would that play out versus if you do come back to India, how would that play out? But I'm sure, whichever one now you decide on, you will have a wonderful experience there and you'll make the most out of your opportunity as well. Uh, Tell me, Arav, you decided on CS, which is obviously a competitive major and also something that's not easy to study and cope with as well. What made you decide that you wanted to study computer science in college?
So I actually decided quite early on CS. It's mainly because it's actually a subject I didn't feel was a burden while studying it. In school, when I used to study something like maths, not maths necessarily, but say physics or chemistry, it used to be such a bore and such a drag. But with computer science, I felt I wanted to explore not just within my curriculum and within my syllabus. I really wanted to go above and beyond and try to experiment with code after that. Like, for example, I study something in class or whatever, or I do an online course. I want to try and create something with that and try it out after. So that's something I really enjoyed.
That's amazing. And I think you put it out very nicely, something that it was easy to you, it was easy for you to do and you enjoyed it. And that's something that I tell a lot of students that, you could traditionally, it could be a tough subject, right? A STEM subject traditionally could be perceived as something hard, but to a certain individual, it can come easier than sociology or psychology. And that is what is probably the better fit for you. So I'm glad to hear that's how easy your decision was. You just saw what was coming easy to you, what you enjoyed, and just made sure that you pick your major in that as well. Do you have a dream job at this point? I know it's too early to maybe decide, but if you have anything in mind.
Nothing specific right now in my mind. It's something in the tech sector, obviously, with computer science, but nothing specific right now. I think once I get to university and explore computer science more in depth, I'll probably have a better idea.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll figure that out as you go along. Right now, you have a bigger decision to make, which is where are you finally headed? And I think once that hurdle is over, you can start thinking about the future as well. Cool. So finally, Arav, obviously we worked together for, a good year and a half. How was your overall journey, working with NexTrack?
Oh, it's been great. I think the biggest thing for me is obviously I can't compare with other counselors because I've not had another counselor. But from what I've heard from other people, in my brother and my friends and all that, for them it's quite difficult to get even appointments with their counselors, and there's a little bit of distance in terms of communication. For me, it was, we used to speak almost every week, I think. And even if we didn't, I always knew that I could send you a message or whatever if I needed help or had to discuss something. So there was a constant open line of communication, which made the process so much easier for me. And secondly, it was also the biggest help I felt was in terms of essays. With both you and Pravish, I think the essay process I'd heard is absolutely a nightmare. But with both of you, I think it helped me so much in terms of editing the essays down, coming up with ideas, even understanding how to approach it, how to write it. I think it made the process so much easier for me.
That's amazing to hear. And I think the essay process is something that I really try and make fun for a lot of the students. And I think we enjoyed a lot with you as well, just coming up with the narrative we came up with and things like that. So glad to hear. And all the best for everything that's going to come at you in the next few months. Of course, we'll keep in touch and keep bothering me with different things that come at you and you're not sure if you run into trouble. And I'm just excited to see how you sort of get along at university and what the next 4 to 5 years, how they shape up.
Okay. Thank you.